My Catholic Faith. Number 14. Revelation and Science. Do revelation and science contradict each other? No, revelation and science do not and cannot contradict each other, for both are of God. Number 1. There may at times be an apparent conflict between faith and science, but this is only apparent and never real. God cannot contradict himself. He cannot lead us into error. True science is the handmaid of religion. Science and the scientific method are means of arriving at the truth, and religion is truth. The greatest scientists have been Christians. A majority of outstanding leaders in science were Catholics, and many were priests. Only the shallow dabblers in science absurdly pretend that there is a conflict. The apparent conflicts arise from false interpretations, as when one takes for scientific truth what is false or not proved, or accepts as a doctrine of faith something not taught by the Church. Number 2. There can never be a real conflict between revelation and science, because they deal with entirely different spheres. Revelation is concerned with faith and spiritual things. Physical science is concerned only with material things. The Bible's purpose is to teach salvation, but people make the mistake of considering it a treatise on science. St. Thomas and St. Augustine taught that when the Bible describes some phenomenon of nature, it sets it down in terms of its appearances. Number 3. No scientific experiment or theory can dispense with the necessity of a creator. Unless his existence is accepted, we can never explain A, the origin of matter, even the most elementary, B, the origin of motion, C, the origin of the very first living organism and of the spiritual soul of man, and D, the origin of the order and law so apparent in the universe. What are the only difficulties found by some scientists in the biblical account of the creation? The only difficulties found by some scientists in the biblical account of the creation are connected with the order or sequence of events followed in the book of Genesis. Number 1. If we study the proper interpretation, even those difficulties will be found not to exist. The account in the book of Genesis is in logical, not chronological order. The writer groups together similar works of creation for the easier understanding of a primitive people. Number 2. The Church has not made any positive definition of the way in which the biblical account of creation is to be interpreted. Catholics are free to accept the interpretation that they prefer, so long as they also accept the fact taught that God created the whole universe and everything in it. Number 3. Neither revelation nor science gives a definite answer to the question concerning the age of the world. Geologists assert that long periods of time were necessary for the formation of the various strata of the Earth's surface. Astronomers assert that some stars are 1,000,000 light-years from the Earth. A Catholic is free to hold on this point whatever he believes is a sound and scientific conclusion. The estimates of scientists vary. Some Catholic scientists, as a practical demonstration that there is no contradiction between divine revelation and science, we here list some of the thousands of scientists who, through the ages, have been practicing members of the Catholic Church, and at the same time outstanding in science. These men not only found no conflict between science and religion, but became more firm in their faith as they delved deeper into science. As Marconi, one of the greatest scientists of our time, declared, quote, "Science alone is unable to explain many things, and most of all the greatest of mysteries, the mystery of our existence. I believe, not only as a Catholic, but also as scientist." End quote. We do not include here the names of Catholic preeminent in navigation, architecture, art, music, or literature, limiting ourselves to natural and physical science. Algue, a priest, invented the barocyclonometer to detect approach of cyclones. Ampere was founder of the science of electrodynamics and investigator of the laws of electromagnetism. Becquerel Antoine César was the founder of electrochemistry. Becquerel Antoine Henri was the discoverer of radioactivity. Binet, mathematician and astronomer, set forth the principle Binet's theorem. Braille invented the Braille system for the blind. Buffon wrote the first work on natural history. Carrel, Nobel Prize winner in medicine and physiology, is renowned for his work in surgical technique. Caesalpinus, a papal physician, was the first to construct a system of botany. Cassiodorus, a priest, invented the watch. Colombo discovered the pulmonary circulation of the blood. Copernicus, a priest, expounded the Copernican system. Coulomb established the fundamental laws of static electricity. De Chalier, a papal physician, was the father of modern surgery and hospitals. De Vico, a priest, discovered 6 comets. Descartes founded analytical geometry. Dumas invented a method of ascertaining vapor densities. Enliker, botanist and historian, established a new system of classifying plants. Eustachius, for whom the Eustachian tube was named, was one of the founders of modern anatomy. Fabricius discovered the valvular system of the veins. Fallopius, for whom the fallopian tube was named, was an eminent physiologist. Fizeau was the first to determine experimentally the velocity of light. Foucault invented the first practical electric arc lamp. He refuted the corpuscular theory of light. He invented the gyroscope. Fraunhofer was initiator of spectrum analysis. He established laws of diffraction. Fresnel contributed more to science of optics than any other man. Galilei, a great astronomer, is the father of experimental science. Galvani, one of the pioneers of electricity, was also an anatomist and physiologist. Gioja, father of scientific navigation, invented the mariner's compass. Graham invented the Graham dynamo. Gutenberg invented printing. Herzog discovered a cure for infantile paralysis. Holland invented the first practical submarine. Kircher, a priest, made the first definite statement of the germ theory of disease. Laennec invented the stethoscope. Lancist, a papal physician, was the father of clinical medicine. Latreille was pioneer in entomology. Lavoisier is called the father of modern chemistry. Leverrier discovered the planet Neptune. Lully is said to have been the first to employ chemical symbols. Malpigny, a papal physician, was a botanist and the father of comparative physiology. Marconi's place in radio is unsurpassed. Mariotte discovered Mariott's law of gases. Mendel, a monk, first established the laws of heredity, which gave the final blow to the theory of natural selection. Morgagni, founder of modern pathology, made important studies in aneurysms. Müller was the greatest biologist of the 19th century, founder of modern physiology. Pascal demonstrated practically that a column of air has weight. Pasteur, called the father of bacteriology and inventor of biotherapeutics, was the leading scientist of the 19th century. Picard, a priest, was the first to measure accurately a degree of the meridian. Regiomontanus, a bishop and papal astronomer, was the father of modern astronomy. Scheiner, a priest, invented the pantograph and made a telescope that permitted the first systematic investigation of sunspots. Secchi invented the meteorograph. Steenson, a bishop, was the father of geology. Theodoric, a bishop, discovered anesthesia in the 13th century. Torricelli invented the barometer. Vesalius was the founder of modern anatomical science. Volta invented the first complete galvanic battery. The quote-unquote volt is named after him. And a host of others, too many to mention.